Episode 519, this is.
This is 519.
519. I was actually checking Spotify before, and there's 534 episodes posted,
Wow.
but they got lost.
So, but
Just like
officially,
us.
officially 519.
519. You've
Man,
been
that's my lucky number.
third time, fourth time.
I think it's my
I should have done research.
third time on this podcast. Second time on my own. I was with Chris Wayne.
Yes. Is this only the second time by yourself?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I should have read up, but we've just come back from the golf course. And I asked George the other night, I was like, we should do a podcast because you've just taken this huge leap.
Mm.
Or we all have.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I know a lot of men struggle with is making change in their life, especially when you're extremely settled.
Mm.
You were extremely settled. I too was very extremely.
Very extremely.
Very
settled.
extremely. I was very settled.
Yeah.
But we've all packed up our lives and moved.
We have. It's been a long, arduous process of trying to get everything organized. I mean, we were talking about this a year and a half ago. I feel like
Literally, yeah.
we wanted our visas this time last year, and it was just a very slow and drawn out process. And I mean, it definitely didn't come without its doubts. I knew when I was packing up my house, I was just like, I can't believe we're packing down this beautiful apartment somewhere that we've worked hard to get into. You know, all of the hard work that we've done has led us to this moment, and now we're just completely scrapping everything.
See ya.
And yeah, I mean, you know, I've got a daughter. I had a cat. Well, I still have a cat.
And you still have a daughter.
I still have a daughter, and mum's back in Brisbane. It's just kind of like a lot of reasons for us to have stayed, but instead we went chasing a bigger idea, something that you know is bigger than any one of us, I think. And we've just sort of all been on the same page with it, which has been really nice.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's six of us working together on a singular goal is a pretty cool thing.
Do you think it makes it easier because there is six of us?
Definitely, yeah.
Look at me like, that's a dumb question.
Yeah.
Are you serious right
More
now?
brains are better.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think being here on your own, like I've got a friend Greta who moved to Vancouver to
Yeah.
chase the acting dream.
Yeah.
And she left everything that she knew as well, but on her own. She didn't even go over with Damon, her partner. He still had a contract and had to work, and so
Yeah.
she just went over on her own and never lived out of home before, and just moved to Vancouver on her own with no friends, nothing. And I think that would have been an insanely difficult thing to wrap your head around.
Oh man, I can't imagine doing it by myself. When I lived over in France, I did that by myself. I had mum come with me for the first whatever couple of weeks, so that was awesome. She set
Mhm.
up the house, but then after that, it's literally like having to go network. Even all the networking we've done has been easier because it's like if this conversation bombs, I can literally just turn to my right and you guys are there.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like if you're like when I went to that skeet shooting the other day by myself, I was like, oh man, I need to find someone that I know and just hang on to them.
Yeah.
Because it's just uncomfortable. But I think that's also like part of the fun. So when you take the leap, it's like, okay, so much easier for us because if we fall, we're all gonna.
Yeah, we've got each other as
Yeah.
a safety net, and the fact that we get to do this together is I mean, it's whatever happens over here with the band, regardless, we've got this memory that we moved over to the United States, the six of us, and we're in it together, and all got the same like length of visas and all focused on the same goal.
Yeah.
But very cool.
And we all have apartments next door. So for those who are following along at home and don't follow us on social media, we were originally going to get a house together. And we all wake up and go to bed at different times. Plus, we also like space.
Mm-hmm.
So we got apartments, and this complex or this building just happened to have 3 apartments right next door to each other, which works an absolute treat.
Yeah.
So
try to find the photo.
Yeah. We'll post the photo on YouTube for those who are watching on YouTube. But it's just so convenient because if you want your downtime, you've got your downtime. We still do plenty of family dinners. Which works an absolute treat. And look, we're having just an astounding amount of emails from people saying, hey, you guys should start a reality show. Now, we've actually only had that happen once. But I think there's so much that I want to document, and I think from all 6 of us, because while we've got the same goal, we've all left stuff behind. You know, your wife Kathleen left behind her
Yeah.
her clinic. I was going to say practice, but clinic sounds more professional.
Yeah. I mean, that was stressful for me as well, knowing that she was packing up and leaving behind a very good thing that she's been working her entire life for.
What does that mean to you? Like, how does that?
That means that, I mean, obviously, it shows me that she really loves me and cares about me and believes in me, which
The wedding didn't do that.
like, yeah, obviously weddings are one thing, but just to put it into practice and be like, no, I trust you and I believe in you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say goodbye to my career for a little while.
Yeah.
And we're gonna rely on you and chase your dream for a minute.
Yeah. Do you feel any pressure from that?
Yeah, for sure. Like leaving, I was just like, Colleen, maybe you should stay and keep, working on your dream as well, because like I don't want it to feel like she's losing something by coming with me.
I think that's like I'm on the flip side. I'm on like Kathleen's side, where it's like you sort of give something up, but I think that's what the beauty of this whole experience is, and I think there's a lot of people. Some people miss the boat because they're just always over analyzing things, that analysis by paralysis.
Yeah.
Where we've definitely thought about things and thought about what could go wrong, and obviously we're all taking a significant cut in pay, and then you got the exchange rate here, which is literally half. It's horrible. I couldn't even afford a new podcast setup, hence why we're doing But
couldn't even afford any podcast guests. That's
so I was like, George, just went next door and knocked on my neighbor's door, and I was like, I'll give you milk and cookies if you come on my podcast. And here we are. But I think
I'm holding you to that, by the way.
Part of the fun is like, and we're all well aware of it, but within taking the risk, it's like, if we didn't do this, we're all going to continue getting the same of what we've already got, which, we were very comfortable. We all had nice places set up. We had great friends. We were living a good life.
Yeah. Who likes any of that stuff?
No one likes that. And all we're doing is trying to just get more of that.
Yeah.
But I think you only really get like one shot, because the older we get, the more responsibilities. As you said, you've got a daughter. Amy and I don't have children. Nor do Emma and Liam. So the older we get, the more responsibility. So it's like it had to happen now, and we could literally fall flat on our face, but
at least we gave it a go.
Yeah, exactly.
And fortune favors the brave, as they say. And no risk, no reward. I mean, that's what our song Geronimo is all about, And we had to try, had to put practice what we preach, and make the leap. Yeah.
You pretty much wrote this song 10 years ago for this very like, that's what it's for.
You can't write a song like Geronimo and then go, I don't want to go. I don't want to make the leap.
I'm so comfortable.
I'm so comfortable.
It's way too easy.
Yeah. No, it is a huge thing that we've done, and it still doesn't quite feel real. Like we're a month in now. Today, literally, we landed.
Month anniversary.
We landed at 5:20.
Yeah.
We've just ticked over a month in the USA.
Am I feeling much fresher?
Yes. Well,
a month ago.
Definitely over the jet lag a little bit.
Still sleeping hours.
It's been a fun town, though. I mean, just being here has already presented us, with amazing opportunities and networking events. And I mean, the first show we did the other day at Bridgestone Arena came out of just networking. Yeah. Going to an event that we didn't know anybody at, meeting somebody who was able to connect us with the right people. And then all of a sudden, before we knew it, we had a show offer for the band stage at the Preds game.
In front of 18,000 people or whatever. It was a sold out game, which was insane. And you just get all of this exposure to more and more people. And then if they use social media, like the ripple effect. Plus then also your own media of people going, what is Sheppard doing?
I know. It's what I was speaking to Chuggy, our manager, on the phone yesterday, and he's like, oh, that photo of you guys at the arena, everyone's shitting themselves at the label.
I took that.
Full credit to Lachlan. But yeah, all the label and everybody in the UK and everybody that is on our team is just like, what are they doing? How did they do that? We didn't have anything to do with that.
2013.
Yeah.
No, but this is the cool thing. I think when we break down, there's so many different ways to create success, but ultimately taking it on and taking responsibility for it is the best way to make it happen. And
Yep.
as we've already said, just like we packed up our whole lives to move, which is a risk in itself. It's very expensive, which also cost us money from income coming in from everyone. So that's like when you look at finances, it's quite daunting, especially you have a daughter, we have a mortgage, we've all got a lot of bills.
Yeah.
To then get over here and go, okay, well, we know why we're here.
Yeah.
The goal is X. We're going to do whatever it is to make that happen. And
as likely as possible.
Yeah, as likely as, and all of us are compromising. It's like I'm normally I'd never go out on a school night. We haven't not had a night. Tonight's our first night home.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Like, pick your feet up, watch a movie.
Yeah, but it's like we're all, everyone's, all six of us are rallying, which is sick. It's
you just kind of want to remove as much chance as possible.
Yeah.
And just like put yourself in the situations where, luck can happen. So
it's not even like, exactly that. It's like, rather than making it certain, it's like, that event the other night, we're like, don't know if we want to go, but we're just like, let's just meet as many people because we don't know what opportunity.
And we're so lucky that we went, because for those of you who don't know, it was my birthday last weekend, and we kind of didn't waste a moment of that day. We were like, after we went
that day,
went to a barcade, went tailgating, bought the soccer, went to the soccer, and then we came back home, and then we went out to Broadway afterwards, and my friend Chris Anderson was in town for 24 hours. So we had to make the most of this 24 hours and just like, we partied hard. And got like 2 hours sleep. And that was that next day when we were like, oh, do we want to go to this Canadian Thanksgiving dinner? We don't really know who it is. We don't know what it's for. Like, surely we can skip out on this one. And credit to Lockie, he was just like, nah, we're going to do it. We're here for a reason. And we just kind of,
it was that
took that leap of faith.
Yeah. And, it was those connections that we met. But that's the other thing as well, is like everyone has been so welcoming for us as well.
Definitely.
That's been phenomenal. And okay, before I even go into it, what's your experience been from the environment we've been in here, like welcomeness, ability, people wanting you to succeed versus back home? Have you noticed any differences?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know why, but for some reason, people in this town are just overly like generous with their connections and their time and their energy.
Yeah.
We've been to families like private dinners and homes, and people, I just don't feel like a lot of people back in Australia would do that for strangers.
Yeah.
People that they've just met. But over here it's like, so Phil Barton, for example,
he's the man.
He's a songwriter that works with Amy quite a bit. And we went and watched him at the Listening Room the other night, which is like a little bit of a songwriters round where there's a couple of different songwriters and they take turns singing songs, telling stories about where the songs came from. It's a very big honor to be, on that stage as a Nashville songwriter. And it was definitely on our bucket list of things to do within the 3 years. And then Phil just kind of uses up one of his songs and says, oh, come on, get up here, you guys, and gets Amy up to do the song that they wrote together, and then invited Emma and I onto stage as well, and we did Geronimo for the Listening Room.
Yeah.
And it was just, he gave up his time that he had earned by writing music and being in Nashville. He gave us a moment to sort of invade the stage and take over the show for a minute, which I was very, very grateful for.
Yeah, it's something like we've never experienced. It's the reason why when we were here last year, I was like, this place is where you want to be. Like, if you're in the years of your life where you're ambitious and you want to see what you can get, and when I say get, I mean like maximize with your career. It's a place to be because everyone will connect you with someone who has done what you want or can point you in the right direction. And stuff happens so much quicker. They're not here to mess about. It's not like, yeah, man, I'll do that. And you never hear from them again. It's like, yeah, man, I'll do that. Next morning, it's like,
you get a message.
This is happening. You got to make this happen. You're like, I wasn't even prepared for that.
Yeah. And it's very different to how it happens in Australia. I don't know why, but maybe there's just less opportunities, or there's not as much of a market in Australia.
Yeah.
So like any opportunities that do come about, people are like scrambling to get them,
Yeah.
rather than over here where there's just an abundance of people doing different things, and producers and songwriters and events, and
Yeah.
there's a lot more opportunities. So people are just like, I got some spare opportunity here. Do you want to take
Yeah.
some of that? It's kind of like very generous.
Yeah. I think now that I think about it, you think about even Brett, who's connected us to so many people, has never done so much for us, never asked for a single thing. But it's like we always go back to thanks, Brett, for the introduction or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is. And maybe that's something we can take back to Australia, where it's like even if you just introduce people, doesn't do anything for you technically, but your name is always there
Yeah,
in
in the
that
back of them.
conversation,
Yeah, for sure.
which I think, helping people get to where they want to be. But I think I'm definitely guilty of having that back home is like, oh, and if they get business out of that, then I won't get business out of it. But
Mm.
here it's just like 20 times as big as Australia. So
Yeah,
it's pretty phenomenal.
yeah. It feels like there's room for everybody here.
Yeah. What's the goal for you?
Nissan Stadium. I think that's probably
With
it.
your best American accent, sorry.
Nissan Stadium.
Nissan.
No, yeah. I obviously, like, short term, we want to be touring. We want to be kind of building up the fan base again. Like we've got a fan base over here, and I mean it's still the biggest share of our Spotify listenership is
Yeah.
in the USA, even though they're sort of spread out. There's
Yeah.
more that we have in the US than there are in Australia, which
Yeah.
is our home country. So getting out there and doing a tour or two next year would be great.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get on the back of another bigger artists tour and be
Yeah.
a support act and sort of go around the country that way.
Yep.
Would be nice. Love to write some absolute smash bangers.
I'd love you to do that too.
Yeah, that'll be fun. So I think we're in the right spot for that. And then yeah, just sort of keep building our fan base to get to theaters, larger rooms,
What does it
eventually
take to do
arenas.
that though? What do you feel like it takes to do that?
I mean, it's just a song connecting.
Yeah.
That's a big part of it, and you being there to connect with the
Yep.
audience that connects with the song.
Yep.
So doing things that make fans feel like there's a personal connection there. I think
Yep.
that's obviously social media is huge, and Emma and Amy are obviously onto that big time. But yeah, it's something about like a personal connection that they have to a song or a show.
Mm-hmm.
Every time we play a show, there's somebody's first show that they've
Yep.
never seen a band before, and this is like their first time being at a live concert. And so they're going to remember that for the rest of their lives. And you've got that sort of personal connection with a fan.
Yeah.
It's about building those one at a time, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, you can either have a big moment on TikTok with a song, or you can, go the hard yards and do the long road and just keep on playing shows consistently, performing well. Yeah, giving fans an incredible experience.
I feel like my eyelids are stuck together from golf.
Is that why you couldn't get straight?
Yeah, man, I played really well today. So as a dad, how was it? Because I'm just thinking about like what blokes are thinking back at home, and you've already covered some things that people think about that probably hold them back. But like as a dad, how was it for you making the decision to obviously leave your daughter back in Australia at the moment?
Yeah, obviously it wasn't easy. I mean, Madison doesn't live with me, and she's never lived with me.
Yeah.
Which kind of, I don't want to say it makes it easier, but we're used to be living apart.
Yeah.
So we, like, obviously being her dad and being there for her and like supporting her in any way I can, has sort of, it's become a lot harder.
Yeah.
Like I'm still FaceTiming her and chatting with her and giving her advice and all this stuff, and sending her money. She wants to go to a concert, like things like that. But it feels weird to not be there.
Yeah.
When she's going through her like formative years, and this is when she's like becoming a woman and what kind of person she's going to be. And I have to try and do that from afar, which is a bit, it's heartbreaking in ways, but I think we've still got a great relationship.
Yeah.
And I know that she's well taken care of with her mother, and her family over there in Springfield. So I think as long as we can get her over and have some memories here,
Yeah.
I think it'll be okay. And we're only gone for 3 years.
Yeah, it's not that big in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah,
As much
and
as
we
like
we'll,
Guardian, everyone's missing me.
yeah, we'll be going back to Australia. But like, say Guardy, for example, if he was to just, go to a different country for 3 years, it would be a lot different, I think, because obviously he's the family man and
Yep.
he's got the wife and the two
Yep.
kids, and it feels like someone keeps trying.
Yeah, no, that's what I was just thinking. You need to get a bouncer on the door.
Yeah,
So
security.
people know this is happening live time and they're like,
Two
we
VIPs in
want
here,
front
man.
row seats. There's a couch right there. Can you sit there?
But yeah, I as a dad, it's been probably the hardest, decision to make.
Especially after that moment at Liam and Emma's engagement.
Yeah, yeah,
That was lovely.
yeah. You saw that.
I did.
So you were the only one that saw that, and you came
I know.
over.
I wish I had my camera out, but I
Did
didn't.
you hear it, or you just?
No, I was like looking at you guys.
Yeah, that was a
I
nice
saw
moment.
it and then I came over to sort of like jump in on it, which was probably not good in hindsight.
No, it was like because I don't know. We've always tried to make her feel welcome.
Yep.
In our family, but because she's not always around, she can be a bit uncomfortable.
Yep.
Especially when she was a bit younger and there was like no other kids around
Yep.
and the house wasn't set up for kids.
Yep.
And um, yeah, I just wanted to reassure her that we love her immensely, and we
Yep.
want her to be around as much as possible. And Amy and Emma and Liam and Lockie, everybody loves you and wants you to be here. And we're so glad that you were here for this special moment. Like we'll all remember this for the rest of our lives. So the fact that you were here and you got to share in it with us is incredibly special to me. And I gave her this big hug, and she started crying, and I started crying. And it was just like one of those beautiful moments where you're just like, okay, yeah, it was a good like connection moment between my daughter and I.
Yeah. What would be, if anything, something that you would have done differently before we made the move? Or do you wish you made the move sooner?
I don't think it could have happened any other way, to be honest. I mean, I know the last podcast I was on, we spoke about determinism.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a bit like that in my head of like we can't. It couldn't have happened any other way.
Yeah.
I mean, Kathleen already had a clinic and everything, and she'd been studying before that. Like the last time we were in America, Kathleen was at university, and so that wouldn't have been a possibility to move everything over here.
Yeah.
Unless we weren't together anymore, which is not an option. So yeah, I mean, if I could have done anything differently, I don't know if I would.
Yeah.
I think it was all the way that it should have happened.
Yeah.
And we've all moved over at the right time for all of us. And if we'd done it at a different time, somebody might not have been able to come.
Yeah. I'm going all over the place because I don't actually have a notebook here to go through it. But even then, I wanted to ask this earlier. People know the song Geronimo, like when you guys, I keep saying when we.
Do they?
Yeah. When you guys played the song, multiple occasions, everyone's like, "Oh my God, that's you guys."
Mm-hmm.
How does that make you guys feel?
Oh, it's a bit reassuring when that happens. Like,
It's a vote of confidence.
well, yeah, you're like, oh, people don't. We're going from, being somewhat successful in Australia to just coming to a massive pond of big fish, and we're like a little guppy, just like,
Give me drinks.
yeah. So like, it just feels like we're starting again from scratch.
Yeah. Does that excite you?
Not really.
Huh.
I mean, it is the prospect of like getting to start again, knowing everything that we've known up until this point, so we can do it properly again is kind of nice. But yeah, having pulled out Geronimo the other night, and then people are like, "Oh, we know this song. Yeah, of course we know this song." Yeah, it's like, okay, so we are not just coming from completely on the ground floor.
Yeah.
Like we might be on level 2.
Yeah.
But we got to keep walking up to that penthouse.
Yeah. The penthouse is the goal. There is something nice about, for me personally, it's like coming to a whole new space, being able to recreate who you want to be. Because I think when you're in the environment that you're used to, there's so many things that are habits, or they're stacked or linked to habits, and it's really hard to break that because you feel like everything's sort of
Mm-hmm.
losing control. And I've said it to you guys and Amy and that multiple times where it's like, I want to sleep in a little bit longer when we move, and I'm going to do this differently, and it's like this fresh start because people don't have an idea of who you are and how you live your life.
Mm-hmm.
I still get up early, but I still do a lot of things the same. But I've, you know, going out on school nights, which is fucking blowing my mind, and then doing multiple other things. But it's like now you get to see the world a little bit differently, and also reflect on how you were living previously, which I think a lot of people never give themselves the opportunity to do that. It's just Groundhog Day.
Mm.
Whether you know, some people enjoy Groundhog Day, so let's just call that life.
Mm-hmm.
They enjoy that day in, day out.
Yep.
But they never give themselves to stop and just think about, is what I'm doing what I'm going to be happy I've done when I'm on my deathbed?
Yeah.
And for a lot of men, it's not, which is why midlife crisis is such a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of men's relationships are falling apart. Their health's atrocious. All of those sorts of things because, not even because they want that to happen. It's just we're too busy focusing on one
Yeah.
thing. Dude, I think I was doing. Actually, I was writing this morning. I think it was, or yesterday, and I was like, I give out all this advice, but I'm still so bad at acting on so much of it. Still, like with my clients, I'll be doing um, certain things. Like I'm like, you need to sleep more. I check my Whoop and I've just pounded myself for 4 days.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you need to sleep more. But then in my head, I'm like, I have to, because obviously coming over here, I've sacrificed a lot of income. So all my brain's doing is you need to get back to that income ASAP before you're comfortable,
Yeah.
which is like this good but also bad thing because you can't just enjoy
You're sort of falling back into the same
certain things.
right.
Yeah,
Same
you need to
routine.
build back,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the challenge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's kind of like it is easy to just fall back into the same habits that
Yeah,
you were back at home
accustomed to.
when you're trying to reinvent yourself and you're trying to, start a
Yeah,
new thing going on. I mean, there's always going to be that part of you. There's no matter where you go in the world, there you are. It's
can you say that again?
wherever you go, there you are. Like we're on the other side of the world, and it still feels like we're just here.
Yeah,
And a lot of people can fall into the trap of like trying to fix their problems with,
yeah,
you know, changing the environment, and uh, like obviously that can help in some ways, but it's like the ghosts can follow you,
yeah,
and because it's inside of you, and like for me, uh, it's still a case of like yeah, I'm in a very because I was really trying to work on my drinking
yeah,
before I left, and now that we're in Nashville, it's like, oh well, now you're in a spot where there's even more events and like
it's
more
not
late nights,
stop.
and yeah, it's like part of the
Yeah,
lifestyle of the music industry
yeah,
to be like going out, catching up, mingling with
yeah,
people, networking.
yeah.
We got the CMAs next week.
So
Thing,
jealous of that.
things like that, where
Yeah,
it's just like there's so many more opportunities to fall back into my bad habit.
yeah,
And so just trying to kind of keep on top of that and remind myself of why I'm here and what we're doing.
yeah. It's it's definitely hard though. Even like we went to golf before, and as soon as Ryan rolls in, he's like beers, beers, beers. And I was like,
Yeah,
oh, whatever.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah. And I was
So
like, no, I'm
yeah,
just down to
and as soon as you said no, I was like, dang it.
But yeah, you don't want to feel rude as well at the same time.
But it's also like as well. You want to enjoy these moments
Yeah.
as well. So it is really tough. But I think you're right when you come back to why are we here? What's the main objective, and is this going to move me closer to that, or is it not? And
Yeah.
obviously as well, I think part of it is like if you look at your calendar or for me, if I look at my calendar the next day, there's
Hmm.
not too much happening.
Mm.
So it doesn't matter if I,
Have a beer at golf.
yeah,
Mm.
it's not going to impact me. Whereas previously, it's like you're on from 4:30 till
Yeah.
whatever time.
Yeah.
So there was a lot more responsibility. Whereas now, as we're trying to, I guess, rebuild, it's not as full. But then I'm thinking to myself, well, should I be working harder to get that? And that's where I think so many people and so many men struggle is where like we adopt this identity that we need to protect and provide. And we also, for me, it's like I want to make something of myself.
Hmm.
So therefore, until I've achieved that, which the goalposts continue to move,
Mm.
I can't stop.
Hmm.
It's a really fucking challenging thing to
Yeah.
to live. It's like I'm my own worst nightmare. I'll be a fun patient, but it's just wild.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, just trying to have that balance of like, doing what's required and what's expected of you,
Yeah.
and also trying to stay sane and have a good time and, be professional. And
Yeah.
like, it's just constantly this ever evolving, moving puzzle piece that you've just got to try and, you know, navigate as best you can.
Yeah.
No one's perfect, and we've all got vices and hang-ups and bad habits and good habits, and we're human at the end of the day. We're just trying to make it work as best we can.
Yeah.
So we got to stop being so hard on ourselves,
It's a good point.
because we are doing pretty well. Like,
Oh, massively. Like, yeah, when you take a disassociate from the situation, like our lives at the moment, like, I'd love to be there.
yeah,
But then I'm also thinking I'd love to be where that person is. But I think we were joking about it the other day. I was talking to someone at one of the events where it's like all the shit that we're going through right now, like how you guys got a whole show ready in 3 days, as much as like from the moment we woke up to when we went to bed was chaos. Now it's like you look back and that's the best story to tell.
yeah, yeah.
It's not actually even the thing.
No,
It's just the whole lead up to. This is nuts.
yeah. The whole like the worst experiences make for the best stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was not that it was the worst experience, but it was just very stressful.
Yeah.
Trying to make sure, because like I'm not a production manager, I'm just trying to.
Well, you are
figure-
now.
I could probably put it on my resume now, but yeah, just
New Instagram bio.
trying to figure out what equipment we needed, like how to get the backing tracks,
Yeah.
and how we're going to play the backing tracks. We don't have any musicians. We need a guitarist. We need a drummer. And you just sort of like, have that checklist, but it's never that easy to just go through the checklist and tick them off one at a time.
Yeah.
You're constantly going back and forth, like 3 phone calls, an email comes in, and then it's just like you're just juggling all of these tasks, trying to be like, stay on top of it all and without cracking the shits at anybody.
Yeah. One of the highlights of that experience, I think you said it yesterday or the day before. It's like I feel like I can do anything now. And for me, it's like whenever that's why I love fitness so much, is because when you push yourself to do a 5K, whatever it is, you always push the limits a little bit more, get into that uncomfortable zone. You've now just proven to yourself that the limit that you thought existed is now blown apart.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, well, I can do that in 3 days. What can I do in 2?
Yeah.
And it just keeps pushing. And that's, I think,
let's book a show tomorrow.
Tomorrow, let's do it. And let's start again. However, then, and I think that's once again the beauty of putting yourself in a situation where it's like you only get one shot. And I'm grateful that Brett didn't go, oh, yeah, no, let's be lenient. Let's sort it out. In a couple of weeks, he just looked at me and was like,
this is the opportunity.
Yeah, this is, you do it or you don't. It's like so many people want opportunities like that, so you figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's what I think leads to a great life, is like your ability to problem solve on the fly. And sometimes it won't work out, but we managed to make it work. And I think that's how I'm looking at this whole trip. Worst case, we go back with some cool stories and whatnot. Best case, we're going back loaded
with bangers.
Yeah, with bangers. We'll have set out everything we wanted to achieve, which will be awesome.
When opportunity knocks, answer the door.
Who's there?
That's what we did.
Exactly.
The opportunity. I got a couple of special tickets to the Preds game for you.
You want to come in?
Yeah.
Just reminded me of Nathan then. Thanks so much. So much.
Yeah. So let's see what adventures await.
Exactly.
I mean, every day is just a new thing that happens. Like even today, like getting invited to golf with a new friend, Ryan. And we're just like, all right, let's go. I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah.
And we got in trouble for taking too long.
Yeah, dude, this dude, he was the crankiest bastard, wasn't he? Old Steve. If Steve ever listens to this, Shelby.
Well, we're throwing some charm and humor at him at the start when we're renting the clubs, and he's like, "How many balls you need?" And I was like, "For a 9-hole course, 15 balls."
And he's just like,
yeah, he just deadpan. You guys are bad.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, just that's the joke, mate.
Yeah, that's what we're running with here. We're renting clubs.
Yeah,
Like we don't look like golfers.
yeah, and like we're about halfway through the course,
Literally
then there's
6 holes in.
6 holes in, and this go kart comes over the hill. This golf cart, sorry, and it's Steve, and he pulls up next to you guys, and what does he say?
He's like, I've been looking for you. Why are you taking so long?
Is that what he said? Why are you taking?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
long?
And we're like, he's like, you're only 6 holes in. Normally 9 holes takes 2 hours. It's nearly 2 hours. And we're like, yeah. And he's like, well, I'm waiting on your buggies. I'm like, dude, we can't find the balls in this bloody autumn.
Yeah,
Like,
there's
there was
leaves everywhere.
and we were hitting them in the book. Nah, we were actually played straight today, which was good.
Yeah, didn't lose a ball.
But he just didn't have. He was just a cranky bugger, wasn't he?
Yeah,
He didn't get
and
it.
Liam was like, "Oh yeah, we're pretty average," and he's like, "Below average."
Yeah,
All righto, Steve.
yeah. Steve's
I'm
like
just
a
trying to-
Karen in the men's world.
It's a golf course, man. Just relax. Just
It's really-
it's peaceful out there.
people-
Why people come out here is to just kind of clear their minds. It was a beautiful day.
Yeah.
You know, you work at a golf course.
Relax.
Just chill.
Relax.
Yeah.
So, one final question: how do you think you are? Like, what is then managing or balancing? You know, we said we all got chaos going on. Like, what? How do you go about looking to manage that?
Um.
And this is a good question. Okay.
Yeah. Look, I'm notoriously bad at like organization and any sort of management of any kind. Like I'm still just very much living in the present kind of spirit, and I just take everything as it comes and try to, ride the wave, so to speak. Just keep on
Yeah.
keep on the surfboard, because I find that's where it's fun, not knowing what the fuck's about to happen, and things just surprise you and spring upon you, and it's probably terrible advice. Be like,
Oh, mate, it is
people
what
have
it is.
diaries, people make to-do lists, and I guess I'm really lucky in the sense that Kathleen is very like, we're not opposites, but we are
Mm.
yin and yang in that sense.
Yeah.
She's kind of like a very grounded, very responsible person, and she's like the anchor. I'm the kite, Forrest Black.
Yeah.
So it works well, and
Yeah.
I think we make a very good team, the two of us.
Yeah.
Because I kind of lift her up a bit, and she's able to keep me grounded.
Yeah.
And then the six of us as a bigger team, I think we all fill a certain role, and
Yeah.
fill the gaps that might be in our partner's life, or in our organization, or like Liam's a tour manager, and he's filling out the calendar and making sure that we're all kind of at the right place at the right time. Yeah, I think it's having a good team.
Yeah. Cool.
That was a long way to say just have a good team.
That was a great way. It gave us an example of what a good team is.
Yes, exactly.
But mate, I want to have a bath. I know you probably want to.
Oh, we're gonna have a bath.
We're gonna have a bath.
Okay.
No, I know you probably want to eat.
Well, that's for
Yeah,
the
thank
extra
you for giving-
subscriber Patreon.
Oh, that's exciting news. Well, we won't talk about that yet for you guys, but something good's coming for you.
Yeah.
Thank you for jumping on. Especially, I'll give you your milk and cookies shortly.
Well, I'm waiting. I've been a good boy. All right.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Remember, if you liked this episode, share it on your social platforms. It's actually, I was saying to George before, it's because I can check all the data in the back end and see where everyone's coming from. And now it's popping up. But I think it's because we are in the US that it's on check out this podcast on Spotify in America, which is fucking awesome because now my American audience is bigger than my Australian audience.
A lot of data in your back end.
America. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Bye.